One of my major hobbies is hunting and fishing, and I love to do it. But there have been several times where I have gone hunting and seen some strange occurrences. The one I remember most and still freaks me out today is where I saw something that made me freeze in place. I just turned 16 and lived in Crown Point, Indiana, by a whole bunch of woods a mile from our house. I decided to go out hunting when I got off work since it was opening day. It was a slow day when I went out, which I wasn't surprised since any time I went out later in the day, I wouldn't see any deer. But I had a feeling that I might since it was getting darker. I sat for another 2 hours and I was about to leave since the sun was setting and I didn't want to get lost on my way back to my car since it would probably be pitch black by the time I got there. So I was about to get my gun hanging on a rope above my stand on a branch when I noticed something peculiar. I sat back in the stand and stared at this light bouncing up and down through the woods, and then started going at full speed to the right of me. At first, I thought it might be a tracker on a deer, since some people put trackers on deer that they feed so that when they get big, they can shoot them. Anyways, it startled me, but then I just figured that whole tracking thing, so I just continued getting my gun down. When I finished and went to go walk down the stand, I almost fell. The light was brighter, so I knew it was closer and it was running and bouncing to the right of me. It got as close as 4 yards away, and I knew it wasn't a deer because there was no noise whatsoever. I finally just looked in front of me and actually ran at full speed. When I got to my car, I was still in a daze and drove home. I didn't really say anything because many people wouldn't believe me, and many of you probably won't. But this was my second most scary experience. There was another one I had in a hotel in Chicago called the Congress, where a faucet turned on and really got me to believe in ghosts. I will tell you, I barely believed in ghosts and thought it was just an explanation to most things. But I can't explain this one. This was not just a lightning bug either, because it was the size of my fist. So, I've posted a few stories of my encounters with the supernatural. And this one happened to me this year while I was deployed in Africa. I've been in the military for over 7 years, and I've been to many places, but Africa was by far the darkest place I've ever visited. We were in the mountains conducting platoon-based attacks against Op 4, which stands for Opposing Forces, which are basically other soldiers in different uniforms being bad guys. My platoon was on night shift, providing our camp security. In the mountains where we were at, there was not a lot of coverage, so with NVGs or night vision goggles, I was able to see kind of far. I was at my post, just passing the time, smoking a cigarette, trying to stay awake because of the missions we ran during the day. I was sitting down with my weapon and all my gear on. Then I hear footsteps. My first thought was, oh shit, here we go. Our weapons didn't have real ammunition, they were just blanks because this was training. So I turn on my NVGs and start scanning the ridgeline for the enemy, but no one was out there. So I chalk it up to imagination because I was tired. Then I turn off my NVGs and relax. And again, no one was there. At this point, I started getting paranoid. So, I keep my NVGs in a ready position but turned off. The batteries die really fast, so I didn't want to waste them. Now, I'm just staring out into the darkness with what little I can see with the naked eye, and with a little bit of light coming from the moon. Then, I see the enemy crawling over the side of the mountain in front of me, so I'm ready this time. I draw my weapon and turn on my NVGs, but then I don't see the person I was just looking at through my NVGs. I turn off my NVGs and look again, and there he was, just standing there off the side of the cliff. However, this time there are more people with him. I say, fuck it, and start firing into the darkness, thinking if these are our guys, I would have killed them, simulated of course. And if not, this will give whoever they are a scare. We were in the middle of nowhere, and we would encounter locals and goat herders every now and again that would wander into our training site. But they have never come at night, so this was odd for us. But these guys were just standing there, no more than 50 feet away from me. My team leader runs up behind me and asks, why the hell am I shooting? I point out the group of people on the ridgeline and tell him that they crawled over the mountain, so I thought they were Op 4. Then he tells me the Op 4 aren't attacking tonight, then pulls out a flashlight and shines it on the people on the ridgeline, but they disappeared. I just thought to myself that I scared them away, until my team leader walked away. I sat back down and I felt someone grab the back of my uniform and started dragging me off towards the cliff. I started screaming and fighting back, but for the life of me I couldn't find the hand that was pulling me. The whole camp woke up and started pulling out flashlights to see what was happening. When they spotted me and pointed their flashlights at me, I was only 5 feet away from the cliff. I told my team leader what happened, and for the rest of the night, no one slept. We cracked open all our chem lights, which are glow sticks, and put them all around the camp. When the sun came up, we reported back to base and gave a debriefing to our commander on why we cut the training short. The look on my commander's face told me he wasn't surprised at all. Then told us to go shower and get something to eat. We never went back out to that range, and he never sent anyone out there again. A few months later, we were driving out there for daytime training, and we ran into some locals. Some of them spoke English, so we asked them if anything weird happens at night. They said, no one goes out at night because of the shadow men. We asked them to tell us a little more, and he said, goat herders and kids walk and play in the mountains. Sometimes the mountains will give way and the people fall to their death. So at night, they look for people to join them. Then he told us something that sent chills down my spine. If the spirits like you, they will want to play with you, so they will drag you off a cliff so you can stay with them forever. Because of that, I'd always carry a headlamp, which is a flashlight, on me at all times. This shit freaked me out for a week. I still think about it to this day, but I feel like sharing this with y'all. My brother and I work at my dad's fabrication shop where we work non-stop and are always getting things done. He taught us at a very early age that hard work goes a long way in the world. So, we were always doing something. Anyways, it's 10:30 p.m. I'm on my Xbox as usual, and my brother opens my door to tell me that we left a thermal cell on at the shop. If you don't know what that is, it's basically mosquito repellent powered by an ignition source. Knowing we have over 5 propane tanks in the shop, I tell him, what the fuck was he thinking? Me and my brother hop into the truck to the shop to turn off the thermal cell. Seemed like a simple task, until we show up. All the lights are on in the shop, including all the fluorescent lights that are activated by the remote. even the office light was on, which immediately threw red flags. I asked him, "Hey, did you turn off the office light when you left?" Not even 2 seconds after saying that, the office light shuts off. This was the sign of a robber being in the office. I have concealed carry, so I wasn't scared. We unlocked the door, and the alarm turns on at the front, waiting for me to turn it off. This was strange, because all doors and garages have sensors that trip when someone forces the door open. Eerie silence was all that we heard in the shop. We turned the corner where the office was, and both of us head in, with lights and guns drawn. Nobody was in the office. Even weirder, nobody was in the shop. Suddenly, I turned to look at the bathroom hallway to see the door slam shut with nobody on the other side. My brother has been encountered by spirits, but not like this. You could kinda tell the spirit wanted to do harm. We immediately left and waited till morning to check the security cameras. On video, it shows the shop's lights turning on. The other lights were turned on, one after the other. It also shows the office door opening and then slowly being shut. Needless to say that I don't go there at night. Ever. Hey everybody, it's Bottomless Dread here. I hope you are having a fantastic day or night, and I really hope you enjoyed these paranormal stories. Don't forget to like this video, comment, and subscribe to my channel. When you subscribe to my channel, be sure that you hit that notification bell. When you hit that little bell, you'll be notified whenever I release new content. Until next time, farewell and adieu.